This is a Pint-Size Media podcast production.
Welcome to the Janet Generally Speaking podcast. I'm Janet, and I'm going to be talking to Marylou Bawden today. She is the founder and owner of ClearPath Senior and Speciality Move Managers. It's quite a mouthful, but we'll get into what it is and how it works and what she does and who she is and what makes her tick. Let's chat. Hi, Marylou.
Hi, Janet.
So tell me about, let's put context to what we're talking about by talking about your business first. What is ClearPath Senior and Speciality Move Managers?
ClearPath is a business where we assist seniors to downsize and move. It came about. Can I tell you about how it came about?
Yes, no, please go for it.
So it came about because we moved my mom-in-law from her big family home that she'd been in for 52 years, and she was moving into a retirement village. And we spent Saturday after Saturday after Saturday after Saturday sorting out and deciding what to take and what not to take and what to do with the things that she wasn't going to take with her.
Big job.
Big job. And she was on board with the move, but found it really hard to make those decisions. And it also gave me an insight into how emotional that process is for somebody who's moving. A lot of our clients haven't moved for 30 or 40 or 50 years. So the thought of moving in itself is overwhelming.
Yeah.
Getting rid of things that have been part of their lives and everything's got a story behind it and a memory is an emotional process. And a lot of the time they are doing it on their own for the first time in their lives. A lot of our clients have either recently lost a spouse or haven't moved since they've lost a spouse. And also a lot of the time our clients have had some event in their life that has been stressful, which has been the trigger for them deciding, or their family encouraging them to make the move to something smaller. So they've had a health issue or a crime-related incident, whether it's fraudulent or violent crime. So there's often a lot of stress going on in their lives anyway. And so we then take on that process and hold their hand through it, to just action what they know needs to be done, but often just don't know where to start, and so get that kind of paralysis in there's so much to do, and so they don't know where to start, and so they end up not doing anything. So that, in a nutshell, is what we do.
Okay. A friend of mine had to move or help, or in fact, going back a step, had to persuade his mother to move out of their family home into a retirement village because from a health perspective, she needed to be closer to other people. She was living on her own. And I mean, that persuading journey was, difficult in itself. And then when it came to downsizing, by all accounts, I don't think she downsized very much. So, and it was incredibly stressful, I think, both for her and for him,
Absolutely.
So I think having the funds to be able to have had someone come in and actually assist them and essentially do it for them would have been a whole lot less stressful and made the move a lot happier, I think. So it's a good start for anyone that's wanting to move into a retirement village.
Absolutely. And 2 points. First of all, a lot of the time the children don't have the capacity to do it. So for my mom-in-law, she's got 2 children and they're both in Johannesburg, but that has to be by far the exception and not the rule. So tons of our clients don't have any family in the country, but a lot of them do still have children in Joburg. But between your own work and your own children and your own lives, it's hard to find that time to assist. And second of all, there's an emotional relationship there, whereas we are not emotionally involved.
Yes.
So first of all, we're not emotionally involved to the stuff that you kind of get rid of, but we're also not emotionally involved in the relationship. And so I think a lot of the time that makes it easier for us, for the client to take our guidance and advice on things.
Yes.
And I also always tell them it's not our job to tell them what they can and can't take with them. That's not our job. Our job is to guide them. And we can be fairly persuasive with that, but we won't tell them what to do.
Yeah.
And then our job is to action the decisions that they make.
Yes.
So if they say that this is going to charity, we will then, they made that decision, and straight away my team is behind me working through it and then allocating it to the charity pile, boxing it, inventorizing it, etc. So a lot of the time our clients, there's this pick up and put down. Oh, I know that I need to send that to charity, but I don't know how to do that right now, and it gets put down somewhere else. And so we talk about, we work on a one-touch policy.
Yeah.
We're working on it once, you touch it once, it gets actioned, allocated, and we are making those steps happen for them.
Let's go a step backwards. When did you start and why? What motivated? We know what inspired you now, but when did you start and what motivated you to start?
I was, I guess you could say, a COVID casualty. I had been retrenched with COVID straight up, right at the beginning, in fact, just before COVID hit. And so I was in this amazing stage in my life where I had this blank canvas in front of me, which I think is actually just the most amazing thing in your life, because when does just everything stop? So besides the COVID and lockdown that we were all coping with, I was, sitting in my garden every day, watching my vegetables grow, deciding what would be the next step in my life. And I do get asked that question of, how did you come up with this idea? Well, I came up with the idea because I was sitting in my garden watching my vegetables grow. And so I had the time and the mind space to be creative and think things through, which I think in our crazy busy lives that we live, we don't get that opportunity to do that.
Yeah, but that's difficult though, because you to just start something, which I know. So tell us, you've had your own business before, so. Serial entrepreneur, just an entrepreneur. What do you think gave you the courage to do it during COVID? I mean, COVID, the doors were locked. We didn't go anywhere. We barely went shopping, especially at the very beginning. So, what gave you the courage to say, "Okay, pull up the bootstraps. Let's get this going"?
I think kind of probably necessity.
Okay.
I think that I knew that I needed to generate an income.
Yeah.
And I spent a little bit of time, looking at those horrible job sites and realizing that was going to be a tall ask, or a hard ask. I had been self-employed for 10 years prior to being employed, and knew that it sat better with me.
Okay.
So it was something that I wanted to go back to, but when you're relying on a salary, it's hard to walk away from that.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a comfort zone there.
Definite comfort zone.
It's one responsibility you don't need to sort of think about.
Exactly. So I don't know that I ever would have had the guts to have walked away from a salary.
Yeah.
But suddenly that salary fell away, and so that part of being a stumbling block or a barrier to going back on my own fell away.
The introduction of chaos
Yeah.
is the thing that generally brings change, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of, it was a necessity thing. And I look back now and I'm very grateful for it.
Yeah.
But it's not the easier path, definitely.
Were there challenges or barriers that you had to overcome to get started, or because of the nature of the business, were you able to just set it up and get going?
I think I had this idea.
She's giggling, as you can hear. I'm waiting in bated breath for the answer.
Because it was it was easy to set up. I came up with the idea and then kind of thought, is this a business? And did a bit of research and realized that there's an association in the States, the National Association of Senior and Speciality Moving Managers, a mouthful in itself, which has over 1,000 members. And I'd spent quite a lot of time looking at that and realizing that if there were 1,000 people in the States who could do this job, then surely there could be somebody in this country who could do it. And I had run my own business before, so, got everything in order, business cards, website, etc. And then did a wake up of, oh my word, what am I doing? Because then realized that this was an industry that I'd never been in before. I did not know, I had no network or relationships within the retirement village industry, within the moving space, any of those spaces. And dare I say it, I hadn't moved house in 25 years. So that was my barrier, the beginning part. Yeah. The barrier, for me, probably the biggest barrier was my own headspace and believing in myself to believe that I could do it and getting some, getting going with it. So that was the barrier, really.
Yeah. Okay. I think what I want to know, and maybe going on a little bit of a more personal tangent here, is when it comes to work, and maybe some of these are work and sort of in your own personal life, what habits have you developed that you take to work with you over the years?
Over the last 2 years or over my life years?
Well, let's talk about your whole life years first, and then see. Then, are there any that you've developed in the last 2 years because of the business that you now can't do without?
I think if I look at the last 2 years, my habits are, I'm probably much better at thanking people or at consciously complimenting people, my team, which I think kind of comes from a confidence thing. Okay. So I think, in my youth, if I look at myself, it was always kind of how was I doing and was I okay in it? And coming to realize that maybe everybody's feeling that to an extent. And so seeing that when we are on a job and with a client and getting back in the car at the end of the day, what we generally will do is we'll do okay, how did that go? Just as we're driving back for me to drop them off. How did that go? What did we do right? What did we do wrong? What went well? And finding the positives and try and find something either for each of them or certainly for one of them if it stood out of what went well and how they contributed. Yeah. And seeing how that complementing and building up. Yes. Building somebody up, but it kind of is the snowball effect. Yes, they do something well and you compliment them, then they do it better the next time. And that positive kind of reinforcement, which is something that I definitely didn't have the cognitive space to think about in my younger years. Yeah. But we do all get better with age. Hey, I think sort of we're like a fine wine. But yeah, I mean, I take my hat off to you. I mean, in my space, I don't think that I would be comfortable now dealing with staff. I mean, I just not. So I've got a divine team. I've got a really awesome team. And then that's what it's all about. It's gathering the people around you. But I think one of mine is the sort of
intolerance for. Oh, don't you know how to do that? Oh, no one's taught you. Oh dear. So yeah, no, I think that brings me to now go down the little bit more personal path, because all of this, I think, in getting to know you is about, bringing us back to the type of business that you have, because I don't think everyone could work and do the job that you've chosen to do. So what inspires you generally in life?
Am I supposed to answer like nature and things like that, or am I supposed to answer people?
Well, look, I mean, if there's I know that you love birds and that you love escaping to the bush. But
so
if it's
people-wise, what inspires me? I think what inspires most people who have got grit, and people who have got the courage to make things happen.
Yeah,
and maybe also, and I probably need to take a lesson from this. People who find the positive in things, because life's tough. Life's tough for all of us.
Yeah. Especially here in South Africa.
Especially here, absolutely.
Look, around the world, but I think everyone has their own reality, and it's tough here.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah.
And so instead of focusing on the negative, those people who focus on the positive, and we see people in their senior, a lot of our clients are seniors, and we see them in that senior stage of their lives.
Yeah.
And we see some amazing people and interact with some amazing people. And those who find the positive, and those who find the negative, and everything is negative.
It's negative, yeah.
And so those people inspire me.
And so when it comes to other inspiration, what recharges your soul? Or
quiet time.
Quiet time. Okay.
I'm definitely one of those people who's always yearning for quiet time. I love my family. I love being with my family.
Yeah.
But I definitely am one of those people, are you an introvert or extrovert? I'm definitely an introvert at heart.
Yeah.
And I definitely need quiet time.
And is that at home, or is that in the bush with the birds?
Both. Because when you're at home and you're alone at home and you filling your house with your own energy, there's something awesome about that.
Agreed.
Which is a privilege to get, because it's not something that I get often.
And I think especially today with kids that are teen or just coming out of being a teenager, that are still at home.
Yes, exactly.
There's not much space for quiet time at home alone kind of thing.
No, there's not much of that. So, so that always is special time. But time out and time, just being in the bush and watching a bird is always just feeds my soul.
So what do you do for fun?
Besides watch birds?
Yes. Yeah, we got that one so far.
I think lots of things. I think my challenge is finding the time for everything. I love to crochet. I love to read. I love to walk. I'm definitely not a runner, but love to walk. And my garden, my vegetable garden, was my saving grace in COVID times.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can relate to that. I mean, I certainly can.
Yes. It doesn't get nearly enough attention now.
No. Well, thankfully we've had rain, so you don't have to worry about that.
Watering it at least. So, I think that's... But also having a purpose and having something to get up to every morning. I think that it must be a very weird feeling to not have that. So I'm very grateful for that, and I get a lot of satisfaction out of this business. The when we leave a job and I know And I come home to my husband every night and say, I don't know how they would have done it without us. And that gives me an enormous amount of satisfaction. So there's a lot of reward in it. And I definitely find when we're working with one of our senior clients who's in that stressful stage of life, I've got an enormous amount of patience for them, which I think is a maturity thing.
One of the things that I've seen, I think on Facebook, I think it was a post on Facebook, is around how you suggest that we should listen to senior people a lot more than we do because they've got so many stories to tell and so much wisdom. Tell us how you got to that realization that, did you know that before you worked and started your business, or is that something you've learned dealing with senior people on a regular basis?
I think a bit of both. There was an amazing lady who lived to 100 who was a very good family friend of my husband's grandfather.
Sure.
Who made the comment to me one day, and I'll never forget it. She said, I'm exactly the same person. I'm just stuck in this old body. And I think that I've realized that we all, we look at old people and we think that they're funny and forgetful and old.
Yes.
But they're actually the same person who they always have been. And we will be that person one day.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
I know.
And so if you can look past their forgetfulness, they've got some amazing stories to tell. They've had some amazing experiences, and give them a little bit of time and respect. Is definitely something that we in this culture don't do enough of. And they deserve that. And I think that it is changing. It is changing. There is a shift to being more incorporating of seniors and realizing that they're not stupid, and just because they might not be able to hear you or can't remember so well.
Would you say that has got a lot to do with the fact and the rise of retirement villages, senior living villages, as they call them now, where you can move in as long as you're over 50, and the in-laws are in one particularly, and I think it's changed their lives. They've gone from living on their own, just the two of them, to moving into a community where they have a very active social life, and new friends and new people. So it's almost a new lease on life.
I think it is for a lot of people a new lease on life, and I think it's a positive environment as opposed to that old age home.
Yes.
So the mindset has shifted definitely, and some of them more than others. But it's your golden years. It doesn't. It's not the what is the word? What do they say? God's waiting room kind of scenario.
No.
But having said that, we do moves into frail care or assisted living facilities, which are not happy moves.
No.
And we do deceased estates, which can be very tragic.
I was going to get to that as well. And my question, I think, with this deceased estates is how do you cope with moving into someone's home that is no longer there, and that you are surrounded during that job with family that are in mourning?
How do we cope with it? We just we try and be as respectful as we can be, and we try and be respectful to that person and that person's things, even though they are no longer there and no longer need them. And it's just I think by being respectful. So,
and what would you say to somebody who says, no, I couldn't let anybody help with, sorting out the deceased estate because this is the last time that I'm going to be doing anything for them? Would you have a comment for them? Would you have advice, or would you have a suggestion that you work with them?
No, I think that if that's what they want to do and that's their wish, then I fully respect that. And then there isn't a place for us in it. Our place is for those people who would like to do that but don't have the capacity for one reason or another. But if that is something that you are able to do and want to do, and everybody's different, and it takes nothing away from how they feel about their parent or their relation, if it's something that they don't want to take on. We take our cue from the family on how to handle it, how involved they want to be with deciding what can be sold and what can't be, etc. Because everybody's got their own level of involvement that they feel is right or fair or what they want to do.
Or capacity, emotional capacity.
And physical, whether they can actually do it. Yeah.
Before we get to our last quick fire questions, which is the fun part of the podcast, how much of you, I think everybody has different selves. There's the self that you take to work or to home. There's often the self that you take into a marriage. Would you say that all of you makes the business possible, or is there a definite work business Marylou?
I think there is I think the work business Marylou is probably more confident looking and assertive than the self Marylou might be. Imposter syndrome, fake it till you make it, all of those kinds of things, especially in the beginning. But I think that the core of Clear Path is Marylou, which is partly why it's difficult to why I want to be involved in every step, and it's difficult to decide where and how to grow. Because it's hard to let go of things. And to give other people the freedom and responsibility and confidence to run with things. Which is part of my challenge, because I do definitely invest very deeply emotionally.
Okay, let's wrap this up with my quick fire questions. So we just yes or no, or whichever the answer is. This is not. So, what's your star sign?
Leo.
Chocolate or chips?
Depends on my mood. Maybe both together.
One chocolate, one chips. One chocolate, one chips. Do you have tattoos?
No.
What school did you go to?
Rosebank Convent.
Tea or coffee?
Coffee. 1 a.m.
Cook or eat out?
Cook.
Best part of your day? Did I need to stop there? Best part of your day?
If I wake up early in the morning and I can just have some time in the morning, then that would be my best part of the day. Yeah.
First thing you think about in the morning?
Work.
Creative? Are you creative morning or night?
Morning. Lying in the bath is my most creative moments. Definitely when you're just lying in the bath and you can just let your mind wander.
Favorite writer?
Oh dear. I'm always reading a book, but I never know who the author is or what it's called. So I'm not sure that I could tell you my favorite writer. That sounds very unprofound.
No, it doesn't. You've just said that you're a reader. So
I'm a reader. I always am reading, but I'm not a fast reader.
Okay.
But I definitely am always reading.
What makes you nervous?
Well, I think that being out of my comfort zone makes me nervous, but it also is when you feel most satisfaction and what is that word? That awesome feeling of having achieved something when you have put yourself out of your comfort zone.
Favorite getaway?
Oh, any getaway. I don't know. We spent a couple of days in Karoo National Park in January, and that was just awesome. I absolutely loved it.
How do you feel about social media?
I feel that it's awesome to hand it to somebody else to do.
Okay.
We know that we absolutely need it. It's been a very powerful vehicle for us. So I'm very grateful for it, but it's not something I want to get involved in.
What's in your bag that you can't live without?
Lip ice.
If you could switch lives with anyone, who would it be?
That girl on Wild Earth who,
Oh, yeah.
I forget her name.
Yeah, I know who you mean. That I can understand. Finally, what song is currently making you dance? You can sing it if you can't remember the name.
You don't want me to sing. What's it called? Don't Stop Believing. Journey.
Okay.
Don't stop believing. Don't.
So
you
she
better
went
cut that
there. No,
part.
I'm
You better cut that part.
I've
You know that song?
Yeah.
Love it. What's it called?
I think
Don't
it's
Stop
that,
Believing.
Yeah, I think so. And that's a wrap on our conversation. Thanks so much for chatting with me. I've loved every single minute of it, as I knew I would.
Thank you, Janet, for your time.
And that's the Janet Generally Speaking podcast, where we've been chatting with Marylou Bawden from Clear Path. See you next time when we chat again.